if Reyna is the better choice over, like, say, a Raze, who has a lot of utility, so she's still definitely strong even once you switch sides and you're on the defense, because that alarm, or sorry, the boom bot and the pain shells does a lot of damage. But Ban, when he pops off on that Reyna, he pops off, and that's kind of what we're expecting him to do here, just trying to lock in as much rounds as they can on the attacker side. Before complexity, I think I've touched up on this earlier today. They're very comfortable on the attacker side, despite like having such a heavy like sentinel initiator lineup with just the one duelist. That doesn't matter to them.
Consider right now with the way they're set up, though the pistol rounds, I expect you to play super hyper aggressive, and yep, already Ban goes down right away a little bit too high up on rafters. So you were talking about those lineups before, Sads, they're coming to pay off already for complexity, but the first play doesn't mean much. We'll see. They decide to just full commit to the A side. Still, Harmful goes down on the back of it. But look at mid side here. They're looking at Kitchen, like you said, exerting the control yet again. AGM, he hasn't decided to peek in, but he also knows that it's not clear. Turrets placed up there as well as you rotate out.
Yeah, it's just very frustrating having to deal with. I mean, Sam is gonna run into that alarm bot already, so they know that there are some bodies of Squirtle Squad trying to make their way through, but it's 3 against the 5. And if Complexity have learned a lesson in prior maps, they're just gonna like force Squirtle Squad to do something here and not give up a sight until they have to.
Oh, they did end up spotting AGM though, so they nice little drop shot by Sam. Makes it a 3-4 on site though. Valyn finds a second, and suddenly it's just Jonah left. He's bobbing, weaving in and out through the grates, but he will actually get the plant. No, sad.
Very sad, but it is Complexity taking that first round, and I like it. They had a good strong pick, like knowing that there's going to be some A presence, maybe a little bit of mid, a little bit of a spread. Squirrel Squad didn't want to commit, but we're seeing a lot of pings coming out of A as far as like how they want to play this, and are ping down mid because they know that that's where AGM has been playing that alarm bot. But a lesson learned here, I guess you don't run the same way twice, leaving it a bit open. And Squirtle Squad, they're going to make a change of plans too. They're just going to want to hold down B. Well, brawk has that Guardian as well to watch mid. That's going to be something to pay attention to.
Big fan of Guardian gaming. I'm a big Guardian player myself, so I'm always excited to see its viability, especially among pro players. Makes me a little bit, puts a little smile on my face. But while we're set up all across through A, though, to exert some of that early push control, but that means that Complexity won't actually have it moving onto the B site. Squirrel Squad can just continue to exert the pressure as Governor goes down near mid-side. It does mean that the alarm bot is still there, so they want to rotate. They will get spotted out, as is Valorant on the back. AGM on top is a couple of pot shots and trade 1 for 1 as you're just centered all behind Yellow. He gets 2, and just like that, they die with a flank from the back. Wow.
Wow, for sure. 2-0 now for the side of Complexity. And I mean, that was just sitting Squirtles, I suppose, over on Yellow, just getting picked off by those guns. But this is going to be the round, I suppose, that you could say Squirtle Squad needs to turn around. They have the gun advantage. They are on the straight up Vandals across all sides. No Phantom players on their team, it seems like. But they have to be careful because that is still a Guardian on the side of brawk. They have made some adjustments, but I like that there's going to be some mid presence here because you want to have some movement on Complexity and not just let them sit and turtle. Even though it's a Squirtle Squad, sit and turtle and run time out.
I would like to say that if you get domed, you're going home, and that's exactly what might happen if they go face-to-face up against the Guardian right now, Saj. But considering they're a bit more of a default setup with what we've seen so far for Squirtle Squad, they're decided to play at least a bit slower considering they've been caught up so much. We can get it caught up. There we go. There's some. And now they kind of rethink a little bit of the game plan. As mid control has gone over, they're committing onto the east side yet again, but the wall is already up, so they know would be a little bit precarious if they go for any sort of exertion peaks as they're inching way closer and closer. jcrueL at the back, able to dash up and away, misses a couple of those shots as reposition as ohai gets dropped, not ready for the peak from there. Spike not going down as of yet, but the wall would at least make sure they get that plant money. Oh,
Spike planted.
Yeah, that spike is down, and it's still a 3v3 here, but the numbers advantage looking a little bit rough for complexity, as this is a really nice post-plant position.
Oh, Valyn
Yep.
could possibly no. So,
There it is.
never mind.
Yeah. So something that I've noticed, like even though it didn't really pan out for them that round, which I mean makes sense, right? Again, the gun advantage is on the side of Squirtle Squad. That should have been a round that goes for them. But complexity, this is where I've noticed that, like, yes, they did their homework. They're very much aware of how Squirtle Squad likes to play. For the most part, since I've been watching them pretty much all weekend and how they want to place those Viper walls, typically we see both Viper walls like making their way onto B side, but the way complexity has been running it now, it's been across A, despite the fact that their Viper isn't necessarily playing there. Drops it and leaves it, holds down B.
jcrueL with a very aggressive push up too, missed the current op shot, which makes sense for the saving in the previous round. But the fact that it managed to get the early pick off on harmful does mean that at least he can just continue to chill there and try to go for at least a trade, considering Squirtle Squad going back to that same sort of slow play we saw for them in the previous round, which worked out quite well. But while up on B, and with the Sova being only able to find one, complexity playing very far back currently.
Yeah, and I mean B, they've pretty much given it up. We've seen it like a couple rounds as well, is that they're just playing this on retake, and already the rest of the complexity squad rotating themselves over, as Valyn will do his best to try and delay, but it's brawk with that Hunter's Fury looking to tag, does a bit of chip damage. Oh, I mean, they can't. Spike still up. They need to get that plant down, but it's just brawk trying to delay as much as he can.
Spike planted.
I mean, he does manage to do so there when finally goes down. Harmful with a 2K, making that man advantage a little bit more in their favor. Harmful right up on top, exerting his pressure, putting 4 people in harm's way. Let's see if they can get the full ace though, but brawk on the backside doesn't want to give that away. He knows the site is there, so he chooses to smartly back off and at least save his gun and what little he has left.
Oh, just look the way there it is.
Nice!
Harmful, that was the spot of a lifetime. Nobody was expecting him holding down tube the way, or up top tube, I suppose, the way he was, as everybody else was moving through their rotations. So he just had pick after pick after pick. I would say that a couple more times to make it 5, but you get the idea. They just were not expecting it. Typically, you have AGM probably watching the flank, but no, he was too distracted because sight was compromised. And that is something that they need to be aware of and be careful moving forward here.
And jcrueL has to be thinking is that if he lands that initial op shot, then maybe the round doesn't go their way, but it's gonna go back and forth. Valorant is a terrifying yet very fast-paced game. Speaking of fast-paced, a bit of a faster push coming off of Squirtle Squad so far, as they've already made their way here to the site though. Valyn goes down, trade 1 for 1. Nice shots by jcrueL. Nice little nice, but the dash will not save him. He just barely missed the window. As one out from another complexity just fall. Stuck out into the open as Spike gets planted here, Sag. Right, bro? Wow. Actually gets the wall bang. Now stuck in a 1v2 complexity and Squirtle Squad. Brawk knows that if this could be a round win for them, it'll really help fix their eco. So they're on the save, but harmful sees him yet again.
On the save round for complexity, you can't be too sad taking down so many bodies that like jcrueL just really cleaning up there prior to even getting that spike down. With the gun disadvantage that they had, I will say that you're okay with that round. So now you're coming into this again with a full buy operator in the hands of jcrueL once again. But you know, Squirtle Squad, they do have just as much rifles and 3 ultimates to play with on their side too. But 2 very important ultimates available for complexity to hold down a site. That's the lockdown and the Viper's Pit. jcrueL taking down harmful to start. Again, really important pick, but it is Jonah coming back. Scratch that. We reset. That never happened. Here we go.
A little bit of a control Z in the round is. Oh, I'm sure AGM wanted to control Z. That governor.
Oh
Okay,
my
was
God.
it a trade? Beautiful spray transfer. And now suddenly Squirtle Squad this round is completely theirs. They can go where they please, and they please to go B. CHOBOME has to come up absolutely huge here. As ohai God, he has to put up with a full ace. The drone hasn't spotted yet, as it does. Now he's stuck at the back of the site. Saving the op here would be actually extremely crucial. Trying to make sure he doesn't get caught out, trying to go for the retake, but no! Harmful! He has a little bit of that revenge. It takes the op from him too.
Yeah, big round for Squirtle Squad. Even after losing their player to start, it doesn't matter because Rez is there to mitigate any first pick offs that they got. And what's really sad is on the back of that, it was across the map. It was almost like a bait because it almost felt like AGM and Valyn felt that they were safe enough to push down tube, but they got punished instead. And look, now Complexity, they're down to a save. And it's gonna be a little bit rough, so they need to adjust the way that they play here because you do not want Squirtle Squad to be running away with this.
So far, 2-round lead though is a very confident take, and they might look to make it a 3. So they where they're at, but as showed up, he goes for super aggressive position. But she gets caught out and punished for that too, but it doesn't matter because on the other end, both Som and Harmful have been coming up huge in these mid-round takes. Just finding up one after another, and there we go, and Ban joins the party as well. Harmful is actually unstoppable, Sedge.
Yeah, he is definitely looking like a raid boss right now, sitting at 15 kills, 4 ultimates online on the side of Squirtle Squad. But again, Valyn and AGM, they still have their ultimates to try and hold down site, but there needs to be some sort of adjustment here. It almost feels like Squirtle Squad, like I said, they've played Complexity on this map before. They understand now, and Complexity has made it pretty known that, hey, someone's going to try and play aggressive. Someone's going to lurk. We're going to pay attention to that. And that's been AGM so far. And losing AGM that early removes all of that killjoy utility really rough. But it's Harmful with that. Knives takes out brawk. And they're going to use this to try and push their way onto site.
Oh! He's just trying to push for it. He's exerting his pressure all over jcrueL with the op. He wants that down. Somehow he barely dashes out to save his life. One more night could have definitely done it. Looking up on it to Raptors. Valyn immediately goes down to a spike. He's playing to 3v5 with the retake. ohai entering into the side of jcrueL, look to find any sort of pixel of a possible head. Make things a little bit easier, and ohai does exactly that with healer down. Stuck in a 3v4, and like you mentioned there before, Saj, they're not wary of these flanks. Governor probably knows it's coming in as well. Peeking it back and forth, the shoulders barely out of sight. As they decide to push for him, it could be double peek. Nice little back and forth, stays alive, but no! Final couple shots will allow him to fall, and as they save the op, a 3v3 situation, they know they just don't have enough time.
No, they do not, and I mean, you run away with this. Oh, it still gets picked off.
Aww.
That's fine. Harmful, it doesn't matter. They're sitting really pretty here right now. Economy looking very good. I mean, look at Jonah, max money. You're okay with this. For Complexity, it's very expensive, these rounds that they've been doing here, but they do have now 4 ultimates. On top of that, to play with, they need to be able to hold down a site or do a retake properly, and that's been the struggle.
And personally on my end too, I'm a little bit worried about SS here. Not necessarily because, you know, this is a fantastic half for them. It is. And this is a lot of what we've seen before, as I believe we do have a small pause.
Yes.
This is what we've seen from them almost the entire weekend. Their first halves are extremely dominant and phenomenal to see how they just aggress onto, as we're getting word from production, loud and clear that it is a Complexity tank. That's right now, so likely makes sense. They don't want to get completely run over and give away all the momentum, but Squirtle Squad, as I was mentioning, the second halves for them are really where they fall. So I'm looking to see if perhaps this is Complexity's comeback, or we're going to go into the second half with like 8-4, and then suddenly Complexity just turns it all the way up.
I mean, it's very much possible. complexity, they're pretty comfortable. Like I said at the start, that they are strong on the attack, but you don't want to go into it at such a deficit at the half. So it comes down to what sort of adjustments do you have to do? What conversations are they having right now that they need to change? And whatever strategy that they had as far as like sitting in the back, giving up sight, their retake has been struggling. And it's a lot of utility that they're kind of having to push through that is not working out for them. And it comes down to and losing those gunfights. So is it fatigue? Is it just a little miscommunication? Is it a momentum thing? Because since Complexity's coming into this maybe a little more cold than how Squirtle Squad is coming into. But either way, whatever it ends up being, they need to address that, and they need to address that soon.
So far, the addressing what they have addressed seems to be let's play far forward. And yep, it's working out already. Cool. Getting the first blood is alright. Beautiful start to see. His band might unfortunately be picked off there because you see ohai all the way up top, right near connector by mid. So you could possibly see any other person having that super high ground above literally everyone else. But seems to be that rotation will be the call. There's an alarm bot mid. Interesting to see where they decide to take this supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, Squirtle Squad doing their mid presence that they've been doing the last few rounds has really thrown Complexity off. As that Empress is used, they're gonna use that to run and push their way onto site. Ban already finding the first kill on to make that a double for Squirtle Squad. It's just trades. It's like, Sash, ignore your thoughts. Bodies be dropping, and it's ohai down to his lonesome.
Oh, that was actually a really nice pick. Beautiful res. All right, suddenly things to be a lot more doable. So Sad, you had a... I'm a liar. I was about to go in this whole point about like, man, Sad, you had a great point there. They're doing so much work. No, all this shut down. I gotta stop saying words as ban shuts down AGM to 7-2 for Squirtle Squad.
They're making us run our mouths, it seems, because it's just so much freaking action. But that action still swings in the favor of Squirtle Squad here. They had the Empress, use that to push through mid, and I've talked about, like, that's kind of the thought that I was trying to bring up here is, for the most part, a lot of the teams that Complexity play, they haven't really been touching mid because AGM has had that on lock. But they've read that now, and AGM has to play a little bit differently, still wanting to kind of do the same of the same, but its A site is where the rest of Squirtle Squad are making their way through.
Still, though, similar take what we've seen before, but this time, all just jumping in as fuck the drop shot, essentially, as he finds Harmful falling below him. The tracking on that was insane. But still, as they put out the Ryuiki Tenkai, another domain expansion will come in as well for the Killjoy to force them all off site. One after another, though, as they try to take them back. Hearts Free forces them into the corner. He knows where they're staying. Now they get detained or they die, but neither will happen as a lot of investment comes out. The Squirtle Squad for as of right now, jcrueL pushes up by himself with the knives and will get face to face with 3 guns in front of him. Oh, beautiful peek. Yet again, the last one left to tell the tale of Complexity. Oh, no way! Can he get a third? What? It's nothing but dome, baby, for ohai. And he says ohai yo to everybody.
That was so clean. My goodness, with a whole second to spare still on that defuse. I mean, that's pure gunplay at this point, because I was a little worried, a lot worried for Complexity. It was such an expensive round for them. Lockdown expended, Hunter's Fury expended. They are dropping bodies, but it's just the ohai show that round and carried that round on his back. Whole team in the pocket. So yeah, that's a big pivotal round for them. They have a lot of rifles, a lot of guns, but Squirtle Squad, they are rich. They're not too worried. They can still handle that economy loss, so.
Enemy kill.
And speaking of being rich, the rich get richer here right now, Saj, as that's 3 more credits going into the pocket Complexity. But the nice res at least will making sure that that honestly never happened. jcrueL forced stop moving on back into nest. Looking for the crosses into L, but you're able to find. Bad misses the shot though. As suddenly now they're a lot safer trying to move an arm to the side, forcing the op out. So they can just choose to move in with the wall being banged out. Currently, they will have to be more careful. Have to get at least one pick before they decide to plan. Instead, they decided to go for it. Ohai continuing his spree, but he has to reload. And two more fall. jcrueL making it a bit more even. brawk responds as 3-2 on the side. They're holding all the way at the back. Armful, a little bit far up, but just trying to spray down whatever he can, as much as he can.
Miss shock dart misses too.
Oh!
Mine's the head. Make that a double. Valyn on his own. I don't. That's gonna be tough. Yeah, there it is. 2 fall. I mean, it was a good attempt on the side of complexity. They expended the Viper's Spit over on a site, trying to make sure, yeah, you can't go in here. We got this on lock. But it's one of those things where when you're deciding if they're committing to be site or not, that rotation, you're coming into this as a 4v5 because all 5 players from Squirtle squad were on site while Valyn had to still make his way over all the way from the other side. And again, a lot of these matches today, it really just kind of comes down to the gunfights and the duels. And that time around, Armful was just on top of it.
I mean, considering what we've seen from ohai, if this game has become genuinely so much about gunplay, just a couple of good shots and the governor goes down, though with a bulldog nonetheless. Oh, the knives, unfortunately, can't clean up the kill. So the back and forth trades yet again with these Guardian Gaming has been phenomenal. There's so much on the side of complexity. Clearly, I'm seeing a pattern continuing to emerge because Squirtle Squad just do not know how to deal with it. They keep popping in the barrel and they keep getting domed one after another. They can't stop the plant for now, though, but it is 4v2 on the tick. Make that 4v3. Peeks and Psalm. Beautiful flick wins of the trade. And now we're even 2 Guardians versus 2 Vandals. Who has the weapon supremacy between these 2 teams? Let's go and see here, Sag. Oh no, he brings back brawk. Suddenly it's not as fun.
I mean, that timer though, for that spike, they need to push through eventually, but right now, this is... Okay, yeah, still works out on the side of Squirtle Squad. I mean, the thing that I'm kind of questioning here that was happening even before that spike went down is the multiple 1v1 situations that happened for the for complexity that they gave up and gave to Squirtle Squad because they just got picked up. They're sitting on the borders. They know Spike isn't down, but nobody was pushing together as a group, and instead you're allowing yourself to get picked off by Squirtle Squad, and Squirtle Squad, they'll take advantage. Their crosshairs are on point right now as there is
looking at this replay. Shout out to production on this. I know we were as impressed as everybody else. Just that boom, boom, boom.
Boom, boom, boom for sure. And we've talked. This has been a contention issue with production right now. Is this scoreline? So it's about complexity taking this round. Very pivotal for them to come into this with a 9-4 scoreline. This is their stronger side. At least they may not feel that way. On paper, though, that's what it looks like, is they really do play well on the attack. Might be because of the map. It might be because of just their play style. Either way, if you're a Squirtle Squad, you have to be careful. And they might have to do the same thing. Give up a site and just play retake as a group.
And it looks like they'll do exactly that. It's a 5v5 retake on the pistol nonetheless. The governor pops it, gets the first flick. So far as Bam trying to do the exact same as True at the back of the site. And brawk is able to get another, though harmful. Makes it a little bit more even. 3-1 as AGM stuck at the back. Trying to delay as much as the end as long as he can. We're able to get one, pops up and taken down.
Your complexity right now, that has to feel bad. You need that round to kind of swing that momentum. But complexity, when they lose pistols, I'm curious to see if they will do it this time around. They don't necessarily force, but they play hyper aggressive and kind of just barrel their way through. I mean, we're seeing that force right now. There's a Marshall and a Bulldog, 2 SMGs. No, they're thinking about either way. They want something to happen here, and they're gonna be grouping up. So I've seen this play before, and I almost feel like Squirtle Squad might be ready for it. This is what the mid push to jet dash on top of Nest and get that spike down. Jet is carrying that spike. There is that wall going up. Harmful though, reads that already sitting there. That's a triple. Make that a quadra.
That was sick.
Squirrel Squad did their homework. They definitely knew. You even saw Viper put like her little like smoke bomb thingy up top on the nest. They knew. They knew that that's what's gonna happen. Read like a freaking book.
I mean, this is a book that clearly you've also read a bunch of times, you said.
Apparently.
Considering how well you were calling that play, and yeah, they perform exactly to your expectations. Complexity right now on the save. They have the Guardian, so we know what they can do with that. But ohai doesn't have it. Instead, he's on the Marshall. And this round has to happen for they will do the buy going into the next. But this is tough pickings as of right now.
Yeah, I can completely support this force on the side of complexity. They need this round, otherwise it's match point. And I feel like if you don't win this, you just lose the game. And Squirtle Squad, they're on the bonus, so you want to match the bonus. And good for them, honestly, for upgrading one of their rifles to a Phantom, but it's Valyn that finds first blood.
They gotta start doing that. Like, it catches me off guard every single time how they just so effortlessly manage to just flick, and there you go, Valyn gets a second off of that. He's just chilling down into grass, so stops the B push. But instead, they're deciding to rotate out, though. Okay. All right, complexity is right now. I thought they could have considered they had all that control exerted onto the B side. Jonah loses the trade, unfortunately, as the turret spots him out 2-4. A spike is planted on B.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit tough here for the Squirtle Squad, but they are still sitting pretty cushiony with how much rounds they have to play with. So I don't necessarily think that this is going to be a big loss for them, but it's a huge win for complexity to take this round.
That's a nice trade as well. The complexity too, exactly like you were mentioning, but right now, Squirtle Squad left at the Armful with a beautiful flick manages to clean that up, but with 2 all the way at the back, chilling. Complexity knew the round was definitely theirs. A much needed win on their side.
Much needed win, but economy still not looking good. They lost so much for what they had to give up. Meanwhile, Squirtle Squad, they were on their bonus. So they're going to have rifles in hand here. And again, this is complexity once again forcing another. I mean, every round at this point is going to be a must win for them. You're committing at this point. You have a very steep hill to climb. So it's going to be huge. But they do have that Viper's Pit available if they can make their way onto a site.
It is not Everest, but it might as well be, considering where they're sitting at right now. Much slower play, the likes of which we've seen from Squirtle Squad in the previous half, but considering they're all set up as a 5, I'm surprised we're not seeing a bit more of a mid presence, but makes sense considering they set up a turret there just to watch for any potential flanks that could come onto their backside. Joe was able to find a couple, so now they know where they might want to peek. Speaking of peeking, the Squirtle Squad takes that aggression to them. Instead, Ben with 2 more flicks continues to clean up. AG already with that, but lose the double peek instead. Can't find the spray transfer. Match point for Squirtle Squad.
And look at the economy that complexity has to play with to try and keep their game alive. They do have 2 ultimates available, 2 more that are on deck here, but you're playing against the rifle and an Empress as well that is most likely going to be used, and she will be hunting. But it's harmful is, really sitting pretty. 28 kills. That is a big boy right there, looking for that 30 bomb maybe, and they might just give it to him. Oh, looks wait.
I mean, ooh, just finds a couple of the pixels, but Lockdown put it very early on that they don't have a Hunter's Fury to respond to this, so but they know exactly where they set up. They can decide to push into them, but what exactly the wisest thing? Instead, jcrueL peeks into Harmful. Jonah's locked down outside to tape, but they're not able to find him. As there's the Viper's spin exerted onto the site. Complexity has complete control of A, but Sama gonna make a difference. One after another, he finds jcrueL, wall push down. That Decay's gonna hit quite hard and heavy. They'll find another, an AGM with a spray. Finds it all inside the jello. He says hello.
They buy themselves a life, gets a bunch of guns donated to their side, to their cause, and Squirtle Squad, they're the little poor man right now having no money to buy those guns because they just gave it to Complexity. Honestly though, it's not impossible. I'm curious to see if there's going to be some sort of adjustment here, or if they're just going to try and do their picks, or try to say, hey, let's just bum rush them, see if we can end it right here, right now.
I mean,
that's my strategy.
I wouldn't be opposed to it. It seems like they're doing kind of like a half bum rush, so I don't know exactly what that counts as. Either way, what's matters? Wait, no way, you get that kill. Okay, all right, you managed to get one right click. AGM on the other side finds the second rotating out though. Can they stop the plant? No, the wall is there, and Sam is going to die. Yep.
Yeah.
Production said they were dono walls.
Dono walls. Oh, that is nice. Okay. Feels good. You've won a couple rounds on that side of the map, but now again you're facing into the Squirtle Squad with an operator on Harmful's hands, or in Harmful's hands, and full rifles on that side too. But there are 3 ultimates available on the side of Complexity, Hunter's Fury, and that Blade Storm. I mean, Blade Storm, I don't necessarily expect to see it coming out just yet, not maybe until this, but look at this boost that Harmful is going to do. Takes AGM out already at the start. Huge kill for him.
And he believes he should have spawned the rotation as well coming in for the side of Complexity, so you can see to consider where they're positioned right now. Squirtle Squad may not be trying to put too many eggs in their basket, but B-side is the take right now for Complexity. As it inches the way closer and closer, they can control of yellow. A spike goes down. Hunter's Fury used as well to clear out the back of the site. They trade 1-for-1. Jonah takes a nice little tag. They know he's chilling all the way back up near Snowman. And there we go. There's the respawn. Hunter's Fury put out. There you go. Tags. Ohai can't find the third though. Rockinstead is able to respond. 2v3 Squirtle Squad fighting for their lives, and as Complexity continues to fight for the round. After out of the sight, super low health bars, the one more knife could do it. As jcrueL is just stuck in between a rock and a yellow place, you could say. And able to find one more. He is taken now, and that'll be all she wrote. Squirtle Squad taking 13-6 on Icebox, getting Complexity back for the weekend.